Okay, welcome back. This is step 2. Okay, step 2, let's go through the spiritual malady we've dealt with. We've done step 1 is the problem. Let's go to step 2. Step 2 is the solution. Oh my goodness. I need to know where the solution is and what the solution is, and the solution is God. And we need to keep an open mind. So why I need to keep an open mind is, how can I reach Bobby if his mind's closed? So how I can reach to Bobby is if he has an open mind, now his heart will reach my heart and my heart can reach his heart. So that's why we need to keep an open mind. So we're going with the solution. It's God, and I'm going to tell you exactly where God is in our hearts. Okay, and it's in the truth. Okay, so step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore it to sanity. Big book pages from 44 to 57. We agnostics. Okay, let's start off with page 44. When you honestly want to, you find you cannot quit entirely, or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you're probably an alcoholic. If that be the case, you may be suffering from an illness which only a spiritual experience will conquer. This is an alcoholic. So what's an alcoholic? An alcoholic, what makes you an alcoholic is if you can't stop and if you can't control the amount that you take, you're an alcoholic. And you're suffering from an illness that only a spiritual solution can fix. Let's go to page 44. To be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. Page 45, lack of power, lack of God, lack of power, it says, that's God, was our dilemma. So lack of God, the power, that was our dilemma. Remember I told you there's 2 reasons why they wrote the big book? Here's the second reason. Page 45. Well, that's exactly what this book is about. The main object is to enable you to find a power greater than yourself, which will solve your problem. And that's the second reason why they wrote the big book. Page 47. We mean your own conception of God. So God can be whoever you want. All we're talking about is through the pages of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is where God is. Do I believe, page 47, do I believe or am I willing to believe that there is power greater than myself? As soon as a man can say that he does believe or willing to believe, we emphatically assure him that he is on his way. Go ahead, Bobby. Page 48.
Page 48. Faced with alcoholic destruction, we soon became as open-minded on spiritual matters as we tried to be on other questions. Page 52. We had to ask ourselves why we shouldn't apply to our human problems the same readiness to change our point of view. We were having problems with personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were a prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people.
Okay, I'm gonna just, 1 second, Bobby. I have right beside there the spiritual melody. What we just read, it talks about we were unhappy, we had a feeling of usefulness. What this really is the spiritual malady. Now, why we have the spiritual malady at the very beginning is because Dr. Silkworth talks about the spiritual malady, that irritable, restless discontent. But right here on page 52 explains exactly what it is. You're unhappy. And you know, Dr. Silkworth talks about that it's the irritable, restless discontent. So that is the actual spiritual malady. And it's on page 52. So, go ahead, Bobby, page 52.
Page 52. When we saw others solve their problems by a simple reliance upon the spirit of the universe, we had to stop doubting the power of God. Our ideas did not work, but the God idea did. Page 53. God is everything or else he is nothing. God either is or he isn't. What was our choice to be?
Okay, I'm going to take over here. Page 55. This tells me again where God is. Page 55. For deep down in every man, woman, and child is a fundamental idea of God. So, for deep down in every man, woman, and child is a fundamental idea of God. Page 55. We found a great reality deep within us. Page 56. Who are you to say there is no God? That's a good question. Page 57. When we drew near to him, he disclosed himself to us. So the closer you get to listening to your heart, by praying, by listening to God, the better off your life is going to be. At the bottom here, a spiritual experience, and it's at the back of the big book. If you go to the back of the big book, under spiritual experience, this tells me where God is also. Our members find that they have tapped an unexpected inner resource which they presently identify with their own conception of a power greater than themselves. So our members, that's all of us, have found an unexpected inner resource which they presently use as a power greater than themselves. We're going to go right on to step 3. Step 3 for me is a daily solution, and it's to have the willingness. And the willingness is to live in my heart all through the day and having and living it. Okay, so it says, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood Him. On part above decision, I have choice. So this is kind of what we're saying. And above our will is my thinking, and above of our lives is our loving action. It's just another way to look at what they're talking about. So I'm just going to tell you from how I see it in a way. Made a choice. You got that choice to turn our thinking and our loving actions over to the care of God as we understood Him. That's kind of what they're saying, everybody. Okay, read Big Book pages from 58 to 63, how it works. Okay, so we're reading how it works. We read it. Did you read it? Okay, good. So then it gets to A, that we're alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. That's step 1. B, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. Step 2. C, that God could and would if He were sought. Still step 2. Being convinced of all of this, we're at step 3. Page 60. The first requirement is that we be convinced that any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. On that basis, we're always in collision with something or somebody, even though our motives are good. Page 62. Selfishness and self-centeredness we think is the root of our troubles. Page 62. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so. Above everything, we alcoholics must get rid of this selfishness. We must, or it'll kill us. God makes that possible. God makes that possible to get rid of that selfishness and that self-centeredness. Listen to your heart, people, if you can. Page 62. First of all, we had to quit playing God. It didn't work. Next, we decided that hereafter in this realm of life, God was going to be the director. He is the principal. We are His agents. He is the Father. And we are His children. Look, everybody. I need to love everyone. I don't have to like what you say. I don't have to like what you do. But I have to love you because we're all children of God. And I want that peace within me. I want that peace. I want that love. I want to give that love. And I have to treat everyone with love and respect. Might not have to like what you do. Might not have to like what you say. But I need to love you. Okay, page 63. This actually proves to me where God is. Again, more and more we became interested in seeing what we could contribute to life. As we felt new power flow in. They're talking about God. As we felt new power flow in. So I finally heard from Bobby came to help me out, or I helped out Bobby. He finally felt this new power within him. You should feel this by the time you get to step 3. So now, Bobby, by the time he gets to this step, or any of you, by the time you get to this step, you feel this new power within you. It's in your heart. It's like, oh my God. Okay, so this is what happens when you're like, out of your head and into your heart, into the solution. You're in your heart. This is how it's supposed to be. As we enjoyed peace of mind, we discovered we could face life successfully. We became conscious of His presence. We began to lose fear of today. We began to lose our fear of today, tomorrow, and hereafter. We are reborn. People, we are reborn by this time. Why are we reborn? It's because now we see life totally different, and we see life through our hearts. That's the new feeling, and that's the new way we should be living our life. We should be living in steps 2 and 3. We should be living in the solution, and we should be living in our hearts. And with that, we were at step 3. Many of us said to our Maker, as we understood Him, Bobby, you can help me here. God, I offer myself to Thee, to build with me, and to do with me as Thy will. Relieve me of the bondage of self, that I may better do Thy will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of Thy power, Thy love, Thy way of life. May I do Thy will always. Okay, so at the bottom here, faith is the biggest part of step 3. And just before I end this is, just because I have God within me, and just because I'm living in my heart, and I'm living in steps 2 and 3 every day, what happens is I need to listen to my heart, I need to pray, I need to live in the solution, but I need to also have faith. I need to have faith to move me forward in life. I need to have faith. So I need to have God, I need to have the truth, but I need to have faith. Faith and living in my heart will get me to anywhere I want to go, and it will help me do the rest of this work. So let me tell you this, just because you have done steps 1, 2, and 3 and the spiritual melody, let me guarantee you, you are not going to stay sober. I pretty much guarantee it. Haven't met one person yet who stays sober on steps 1, 2, and 3, and I'm going to tell you why. Just because I'm living in my heart, just because I have faith, there's something still going on with me. And I'm going to tell you what's going on with me is I'm still reacting differently in life. I'm still reacting the wrong way in life. Is what happens is somebody might cut me off, and I might get mad, and I might get resentful, and I might live in self-pity, and I might be reacting from a defects of character. Those are the things that are going to send me back out drinking. So this ends steps 3, and we will take another break. Thank you, everyone.